from Paris. Ever wonder how you go from a small startup to a 500-employee company? Well, today the CEO of The Fork, the European leader of online restaurant reservations, tell us all about this success. Follow me!
Thank you very much, Bertrand, for welcoming us today here at your offices in Paris. 10 years ago, you decided to offer a solution for online restaurant reservations, and so you created The Fork, better well known as La Fourchette here in France. Why do restaurants use you? What do you bring to restaurants?
So we have a double value proposition for restaurants. First value we bring to them is that we have developed very good software to manage all the bookings. So we replace the paper book, which has been in the restaurant for centuries, and by a screen where they will manage all their bookings. But this is more than bookings, because if you manage your bookings on the software, then you will build a customer database, you will be able to have CRM on your customers, and you will also be able to optimize your service. As you know, when a restaurant is well managed, you can sell several times a table for the evening, and all the digital allows you to do it easily. So this is make the booking, optimize your services, and build a customer database to do CRM on it. So this is the first value proposition with the software. And the second value proposition, of course, is distribution. So how can restaurants use internet to be accessible to more people? So with our brand La Fourchette in France, Eltenor in Spain, The Fork in other countries, but also now for the last 16 months with TripAdvisor. So every restaurant working with our software will be available on La Fourchette network on TripAdvisor. So it's really a huge reach of new users for any restaurant.
And so what's your business model?
So the business model is win-win. This is a very digital business model. So we think the best company in the world is Google, because you pay only if you get something. So this is exactly the same. Restaurants, they will pay for additional covers. So if we don't, being on La Fourchette is free. A restaurant will just pay for bookings, and the price point, depending on the countries, is between 1.5 and 2 euros per seat.
Okay, we know margins are quite limited in F&B. Aren't your fees a problem for restaurant owners?
All what we are doing is to bring additional customers, mainly additional customers. And so this is something we are explaining for 9 years to restaurants now, that the margin on all restaurants are low, but the margin on one additional customer are very high. So it's not easy to get for them, because as you know, they have the main metrics in the industry is the food cost ratio. But when they try, for example, to do special offers, where there is a fee, but there is also a discount on the bill, they will discover that, okay, additional customers are almost free in terms of cost, and so all revenue you make is almost margin. And when they begin to yield, use yield management with discount, etc., they never stop.
And why would a group like TripAdvisor acquire La Fourchette?
TripAdvisor has a massive traffic in the restaurant industry, and has become probably the number one app of restaurants in the world. And so they had this asset, and strategically they were thinking, okay, we need to make something of it, and to add services to it. And one of the services was booking. And so they thought, okay, so should we do it by ourselves or should we buy a company? And then it was their decision to say, no, we should buy a company because it will be faster. So it was, okay, we have this big asset, we should improve it, but also, of course, monetize it, as we say, so because to make revenue from it. So booking was a good way to do it. And the second answer is that, but it's linked to restaurants, is that travelers, the more and more they want to plan restaurant, attraction, etc. So that's additional service also for the people that are more on the hotels part of TripAdvisor, but also for local. You go much more often to restaurants than you travel. So they were thinking, okay, if we improve our restaurant channel, it will increase our repeat rate. We will have more loyal customers.
Looking back to this success story, what was the most challenging part?
Okay, so most challenging, and it's always the case, basically, is to convince restaurants and to make them understand what we are doing. Because it's so new for them. You know, going from paper booking to digital bookings is totally new and change a lot in a restaurant. Because as you know, in many restaurants, many people take bookings because you can write, okay, John, 2 people tonight. So it's very easy, anybody can do that. And so when you say, okay, now there is a software, that's a big change. So this is change number 1. Change number 2 is you have to pay to get the customer. No, before La Fourchette, they never pay anybody to get customers. It was other people calling a restaurant directly or walking. And step number 3, reviews. Okay, you know what? Now anybody can just say what you're doing is shit. Which is very hard because, and it's very different from hotels. Because in restaurants, the chef is making the food. You know? So when you say the dishes was not good, you're saying to the chef, you do not well your job. When you say, okay, the room was not comfortable, okay, it's not personal for the hoteliers. Okay, I need to maybe to change a bed or whatever, but it's not personal. With restaurants, it's different. And the 4th thing is yield management. Okay, you know what? Not only you will pay for customers, but you will do discount. Sometime. Not every day, not every time, but you will do discount, which is, and as I was saying, you know, they say, yes, but you know, my margin is 10%. So how can I give 20% discount? I will lose money. So it was 4 big change for them. So that's why every time, and still the case now, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and we have to do it. Now we are bringing like around 2,000 restaurants per month additional. So we are doing it, you know, 10,000 times per month. So this is, and at the beginning I was doing it, of course. So I know the challenge.
How did you start this project? Like, where did you find the investment? How where did you find your partners? How did you create this success story?
So a lot of work and some luck. So partner for me, it was my second startup. So one of the learnings of the first one was that you need to have complementary partners. So we are 3 people. Denis Fayol, who was head of CTO, so head of all product and technique, engineering. And then we had Patrick d'Alsace, who was managing basically all the sales. Most of the, we are doing almost everything, but he was the sales guy with a very good knowledge of restaurant industry, with a very good network, with the ability to convince people. And then I was more like marketing, general management of the company. And so we are very complementary. At the beginning, I think that's important not to be alone and to work with fast people with very, deep skills that you don't have. So I think this is key success number 1. Then we had a very good knowledge of the industry, both digital but also restaurant. Because with Patrick, we had this company for 5 years, and this company was basically sales. So we had met thousands of restaurants, and all type of restaurants, and groups, and small restaurants, and star Michelin restaurants, etc. So knowledge of the industry, good team, hard work. I mean, I don't know what to do without working, but it's not a work. I'm saying to my 2 girls, I have 4 girls, that I don't have a job. That's when you create a company, that's not a job. That's like something different. I don't know how to explain, but it's a project. It's a
baby.
Yes, it's a baby, exactly. So working hard on some luck too, on humility, because we had a business model at the beginning, we had a vision, and we changed it. Not really, but we changed some key stuff that we would not imagine to change 1 year before. But we had to listen to the market to understand and say, okay, we had one idea, but it was not the right idea. So we have to change.
So be flexible.
Yes, be flexible enough to make sure that you listen to your customers and listening to the customers. Talking with some restaurant at night, having a beer with one of the restaurateurs, I convinced him to do a great yield management program. And it was not my goal when I entered the meeting with this guy, but I was able to listen and to think my business, his business, and to conclude with him, okay, you should yield, because it was summer, so low seasonality. It was a new restaurant, so nobody knows the restaurant, so whatever. And we did a special offer for this restaurant. It worked pretty well, and very fast. We went to see other restaurants. We said, okay, you should do the same because it works for this one. And so we had like this first, luck, I would say. But then we really, very fast, execute on it to say, okay, we'll work on it to make it a success.